What is up, Ohio? Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Broulis Beat Report. I am your host, Nick Broulis, and let me just say one thing. Last time you watched the Broulis Beat Report, I always tell you about how it's brought to you by Cafe 80s, which it is. I love 80s music. It's what, they're the people that I, hang out with when I'm not here and you guys are watching me. And I promote their shows, and I'm going to be the first to tell you right now. I told you that last Saturday, I think it was, that they were going to be at Nathan's Patio in Canton, Ohio. Well, guess what? I was reading a completely wrong email. If you went out to Nathan's Patio and had a good time, that was fine, but you didn't see Cafe 80s. Why? Because, again, I read the wrong email. They are actually at Nathan's Patio this Saturday, okay? They do warm-ups at 9 o'clock in terms of, getting their sounds right and everything. And then at 9:30 is when they kick the actual show off. So, again, if you are a person that loves 80s music and you like to go out and listen to live 80s music, you will want to go to a Cafe 80s show. You will love it, I guarantee you. Maybe you're not the type that wants to get out on the dance floor and dance. Me, I am. Maybe you're the type that just wants to sit back and relax. You can do that too. So you can either, if you want to mix both of them. Some people dance a little bit, then they go back, have something to eat and drink, then they go back out on the dance floor. Some people just do one or the other. It's really up to you guys, but this is what I'm getting at. You will love a Cafe 80 show if you get out there. So if you are in the Canton or surrounding areas, check out Cafe 80s at Nathan's Patio, okay? I guarantee you that you will love it, all right? If you need more information on Cafe 80s, check them out at their official website, thecafe80s.net, or find them on Facebook, The Cafe 80s, or download that Bands in Town app if you haven't already done so, and just simply type in Cafe 80s, and you will get alerts sent to you, and just don't do like what I did last show and look at the wrong email, okay? Because that's what I did. So, again, they'll be at Nathan's Patio, all right, in Canton, Ohio. If you love 80s music, you need to check them out. Well, I'll tell you this right now. 2 nights in a row, I got to witness 2 great sporting events. Let's start out with Super Bowl 51. Unbelievable game between the New England Patriots and the Atlanta Falcons. Now, of course, the final score was 34-28 in favor of New England as they won their 5th Super Bowl in, I believe it was 7 tries. And what else can you say? I know a lot of people that I talked to after the game was over, especially going to work the next day, that thought that the game was over at halftime, and I told them, I said, you can't be more wrong. Do you realize how good Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are? Now, I took some notes while I was watching the game. Just for the record, this was the first ever Super Bowl that went into overtime, which made it even that much more impressive. First quarter, nobody scored. And then next thing you know, Atlanta's offense just absolutely explodes on the New England Patriots defense. They put up 21 points in the second quarter compared to New England's 3. And I'm thinking to myself, okay. And then a buddy of mine texted me and says, I love this. I absolutely love seeing this just because of the fact that I cannot stand New England. So then, halftime goes through, and we come into the third quarter. Next thing you know, New England puts up a 6 spot, and Atlanta, off of a interception, the first ever pick 6 for Tom Brady in his Super Bowl career, Robert Alford takes it back for a touchdown for 82 yards. How impressive was that? Okay? So, of course, that continues to tell everybody, wow, this game's really over, isn't it? And I'm thinking, no, this game is not over by any means. There's still way too much time. So you get into the fourth quarter. New England, they start to move the ball. The receivers are starting to make some good catches. They're starting to get back on their routes. They put up a 19 spot. Takes us to overtime. And that's when, I believe it was James White, scored the game winner. And now the Super Bowl champions are the New England Patriots. This is my observation from the first half to the second half, and this is my opinion, the tale of two halves. In the first half, if you really pay attention to the line of scrimmage, in the first half, Matt Ryan had all day to throw the ball, okay? All day to throw the ball. And on the other side, Tom Brady, he couldn't get rid of the ball fast enough. Atlanta registered 5 sacks, okay, with Grady Jarrett, never heard of him, getting 3 of those, okay? Then, let's go to the second half. Next thing you know, Matt Ryan is getting dropped for sacks. New England racks up 5 sacks. And all of a sudden, Tom Brady has got all the time in the world to make his reads and his passes accurate. Now, I got a bunch of statistics wrote down. I'm not sure if I'm going to go through all of them. Tom Brady goes 43 for 62, okay, which he sets a new Super Bowl passing yards record, which was previously held by Kurt Warner with 414. He threw for 466 yards. If you told me Tom Brady was going to get sacked 5 times and throw 1 interception and throw 2 touchdowns, I would have told you that the other team's going to win, whoever it was. And if you'd have told me once I found out that Atlanta was in, I said, oh, well, they're going to win that game. Because that's how you beat the New England Patriots. You force Tom Brady into bad decision-making. You get pressure on him. That's how Denver won when they after they eventually advanced to the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 50. They got pressure on Tom Brady. They made him feel uncomfortable. Von Miller was wreaking havoc in the backfield. Okay? So he threw for 466 yards, which is a new Super Bowl record. And now he owns the most touchdowns thrown for a quarterback in the Super Bowl. He now has 13 touchdown passes, followed up by Joe Montana, who has 11, Terry Bradshaw from the Steelers teams of the 70s, who has thrown 9 touchdowns, and then Roger Staubach with Dallas with 8. So now, is the debate really over? Is Tom Brady really, in your mind, the greatest quarterback to ever play the game of football? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm on the fence. I really don't know what to say at this point because this is how I look at it. Yeah, he had an unbelievable performance, especially in the second half. But let's not forget just how well the New England defense had to play in the second half. They had to play shutout football. Okay? Pretty much. To give Tom Brady the opportunity to do what he eventually went on to do. Okay? Now, in terms of the stats, New England didn't have nothing when it comes to rushing the ball. Non-existent, really. However, when it comes to receiving, James White, 14 receptions for 110 yards, including that touchdown to win the game. Julian Edelman didn't have his best game as a wide receiver, okay? He caught 5. I think he was targeted 11 or 13 times. Caught 87 yards worth. Danny Amendola, 8 receptions, 78 yards and a touchdown. Malcolm Mitchell, a rookie. He's the one that, in my opinion, got everything started. 70 yards of receptions. And, of course, Edelman, unbelievable catch. Unbelievable catch. That ball was, an inch or 2 from hitting the ground, and he, puts his hand under and scoops it up. Flashback, David Tyree. New England was going for the perfect season. Eli Manning escapes the pressure somehow, some way. Just heaves it up, says, make a play for me, David Tyree. Make a play for me. And that's exactly what he did. Cuffed that football into his helmet, fell down to the ground, and he caught it. Unbelievable. So which catch was better? That's my opinion. I still say David Tyree's was the better catch, but I'm telling you what, it was close, in my opinion. Now, for Atlanta, they had a good rushing game going. Devontae Freeman, they had a good rushing game going, all right? Julio Jones, 4 catches, 87 yards. Taylor Gabriel, the former Cleveland Brown, 3 receptions for 76 yards. Austin Hooper, 3 receptions, 32 yards, and a touchdown. And then the offensive coordinator, Kyle Shanahan, says after the game at the team's hotel, it was my fault. I blew it. I made some bad offensive calls. And here's another thing. Atlanta had a chance to get the win. And all they needed was a field goal late in the second half. And what happens? Matt Ryan takes the sack. They get a penalty. They're out of field goal range. You can't. I mean, he legitimately looked like a Browns quarterback that doesn't get rid of the ball in time and doesn't understand the situation, and he holds onto the ball too long, and he gets sacked. And now they're out of the situation where they could take advantage of a field goal. So, Matt Ryan had a quarterback rating of 144.1, which is unbelievable. Tom Brady's was 95.2, but at the end of the day, he's the one that wins the Super Bowl. And the New England Patriots are already favorited to win Super Bowl 52, which is in Minnesota next year at U.S. Bank Stadium, I believe is what the name of that new stadium is, up there in Minnesota. But it was an unbelievable Super Bowl. It really was. It was one of the best that I have seen, if not the best. All right, well, we got to switch gears, and I got so caught up in just showing you guys how big of a mess up I made with the Cafe 80s thing. I forgot to start off the show with my countdowns. We are a week away from spring training, guys. A week away from spring training. And you know what? You know what made the offseason just that much more easier to deal with? Doesn't it help when your team makes it to the World Series? All the way to Game 7 and almost beats the best team in baseball? Come so close. And that makes your offseason that much shorter, and I loved it. And I loved the fact that we brought in Edwin Encarnacion. The Indians front office is showing that they want to make this happen. 7 days. A week from today. Pitchers and catchers report for Major League Baseball. And for all of you out there that love the good weather, well, spring's only 41 days away. The NFL draft, which will be in Philadelphia this year, is 79 days away. And for all you thrill seekers out there, especially myself, 89 more days until Cedar Point opens in Sandusky, Ohio. We're almost out of the woods if you live in Ohio or any of these northern states. We're almost out of the woods when it comes to the bad weather. And we've had another mild winter. 2 years in a row where it's been a mild winter. Okay, so there's your countdowns. Now let's switch to the NBA. This was game number 2 of my 2 straight nights of an unbelievable sporting event. First off, let's review what the Cavs did last week. Monday at Dallas, they lost 97-104. Then Wednesday, they hosted the Timberwolves, and they got a W, 97-125. And then Saturday, they went into New York and knocked off the Knicks 111-104. It was a close game. Not the whole game. It was a blowout until the fourth quarter when the Knicks decided to wake up a little bit. LeBron drove to the rim, commanded the defense to sag in, leaving Kevin Love wide open and just knocked down a clutch three. Cavs went on to win that. And then last night, it was a playoff atmosphere in Washington last night. The Wizards had won 17 straight home games. Hottest team in the NBA for the most part. Okay? So what happens? The Cavaliers stayed within range, and they won in overtime 140 to 135. Okay? That's the summary of the whole game right there. But let's talk about those final seconds of regulation. LeBron James and Kevin Love do it again. Okay? Washington hits their 2 foul shots. Kevin Love runs right to the ball. Touchdown pass to the wide receiver, LeBron James. On the side. Fadeaway 3. No reason on earth to be making a shot like this. 6'7", 250 pounds, puts up a 3-pointer, banks it in. And we are deadlocked at 120 with 0.3 tenths of a second left. The entire arena is in awe. So am I. Couldn't believe he just made that 3. One of the greatest shots that I have ever seen, and I've seen a lot of great NBA shots. The Cavs send this game into overtime, and that's when Kyrie took over. And the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Washington Wizards, I almost said the Milwaukee Wizards. How bad would that have looked? The Cavaliers and the Washington Wizards, 17 straight game home winning streak. Unbelievable. So now the Cavaliers remain in the first seed in the East. This is just going by playoffs, okay? Cavs got the 1 seed. Boston is 2 games back. Washington, I believe now, is 5 games back, followed by Toronto, Atlanta, Indiana, Chicago, and Detroit. So the Cavs have a big game coming up at Indiana on Wednesday, followed by a primetime game at OKC this Thursday, and then Saturday they host the Denver Nuggets. Now, let's move to the trade rumors real quick, and I'm sure most of you have heard by now. There was a report out of New York this morning that there is a trade very close with the Cavaliers trading Kevin Love for Carmelo Anthony straight up. And I'm telling you right now, I just got done listening as I was on my way here to the studio today to a very, very reliable source, very close to the situation. He said, not even close to true. Not even remotely close to true. It's not going to happen. The Cavs have made it very clear that they are not trading Carmelo Anthony for Kevin Love straight up. And I'm telling you right now, if the Cavs do that, I, for one, will be extremely ticked off. Kevin Love is a better player than Carmelo Anthony. He may not be as good of a scorer, but he's a better overall player than Carmelo Anthony. And I'm telling you this right now, there's only 2 moves that need to be made for the Cavaliers to improve their roster. 1, do I think they got to get a backup point guard? Absolutely. LeBron is leading the NBA in minutes played right now. You cannot have that, okay? You cannot have that. He needs to get down to 32 minutes a game at the most. Right now he's averaging, I think, 37 points a game. Minutes a game. Cannot have that. Him and Irving need to get some rest. So, if they can get a legit backup point guard, I'm not saying it's got to be somebody in the top 10 of point guards. No. Don't need that. Just need somebody that's going to be able to run the offense and give you a couple points and give them some minutes to relax on the bench. Okay? Number 2, I would love the Cavaliers to get an Andrew Bogut or a Tyson Chandler as a legit center to get rebounds and protect the rim because Tristan Thompson is not that type of player. All right? So that's what the Cavs need to do in free with the trade line deadline coming up, February 23rd, I believe, is when the trade deadline comes up. That's all they need. They don't need to make a big splash. They don't need to make a big trade. Okay? That's all they got to do. Now, finally, to end the show, I got a Major League Baseball note for you. Major League Baseball wants to raise the strike zone. Article that I was reading yesterday has the strike zone since 1996. it's been just below the kneecaps, just below. Now they want to raise it to where it's slightly above the kneecaps. And they want to eliminate the intentional walk, meaning all the manager has to do is signal that they are intentionally walking him, and they don't have to throw the 4 pitches out of the strike zone to make it a official intentional walk. It's one of the ways I think they're trying to speed up the game. So that's some Major League Baseball notes on the side for you. But unbelievable games. If you were able to watch both the Super Bowl and the Cavs game last night, unbelievable. Well, to finish the show, I always want to talk to you about sports, fitness, health, working out, things like that. If those of you that know me very well know that I am a freak when it comes to wanting to hit the gym. Well, this year we are in 2017 now, and of course the number one resolution is to either lose weight or, in my case, trying to gain muscle. Well, the company that I've teamed up with, as most of you may know by now, is Swole Sports. You can go to their website at swolesports.com. They have a variety of supplements that you can take that will help you reach your fitness goals. Me personally, I take the pre-rec, which is a pre-drink workout. Get you really wanting to hit the weights real hard and take fewer breaks and the time in between from set to set. For those of you out there that are looking to lose weight, they have supplements on there that can help you lose weight. I think it's called Turbo Shred. And then they got the BCAAs that you could take while you're working out, things like that. Bottom line is, if you want to have a healthier 2017, you need to exercise, but you also need to eat right. Eating right is the most important, but exercising is very close to, is almost just as important, okay? But, again, check out swolesports.com and give their products a try. I'm pretty sure that you're going to be extremely happy with them. Well, that is all that I have for you on this edition of the Broulis Beat Report. I know this has been a lot longer than usual, but I really do hope that you enjoyed it. You got to see a little bit of my emotions coming out for this one, which is what I got to start doing a little bit more often. But until next time, thank you for watching the Broulis Beat Report. My name is Nick Broulis. Have a great rest of your week, everybody.